Hi guys.
This is the worst way to start a show.
Why?
Ever.
Why?
Okay.
Welcome to whatever this is.
5 minutes. Oh, yeah. Okay, you do the intro bit now.
Just did.
We're going to swap roles. I'm angry.
I've already said
I'm
hi to
angry
everyone.
Michael today.
Any subscribers we do have, and future ones.
We've got 5 actually.
There we go.
We've got 5. We should
Hello
shout
to
them
you
out.
all. And as I said
3 of them
about
might be
20
me.
seconds ago, welcome to whatever this is. Okay?
What's the show today?
The title suggests it could be anything, but we predominantly do politics, which is going nowhere. And you've got 2 friends,
Sort of.
26 years in.
27 maybe.
Do I get that? 27 plus maybe.
I don't know if
Around that time. What do they do? Because they want to know who the hell you are and why you're even talking.
Oh, whoa.
Context is vital. Because a lot of time you don't get that. If you had to pick, because everyone loves categories and tags and flavours, he would be left, I would be right. But nowadays, I've been thrust into the far right. Yeah, it just came about. About 10 years ago, it used to be called racist. People could just throw that one out there, and you're supposed to shut down and be quiet. That was their power. And now it's far right.
Xenophobic.
So, yep, again, just throw phobic onto everything.
Well,
sort of lost its meaning. You can't be xenophobic if you're dealing with facts. That's all. If people from another country are here visiting and have done nothing wrong, then there's no fear. I don't see a bunch of Spanish people walk down the road and go, "Oh my God, what's going on here?"
So the Spanish are all right.
Yes. Oh, we're doing quotes now.
What's
the Spanish are all right?
What's the
They weren't in 1588.
What's the wider context of the background? What's been happening this week that we're going to focus on today?
This week is a continuation of the previous 2, almost 3 weeks now of the UK riots. Why are you doing that? They are riots. They have actually been riots. Yes, but many things are riots that have never been defined. Because to define a riot, you need 12 or more people with a common purpose who are committing mass disorder. That's all. The riot act.
Are you disputing the fact? Are you
No,
disputing?
but I'm talking about many things have been happened before, which are actual riots, but they don't get called riots. But now they get called riots, which is half the problem with what we're dealing with. Because
let's be specific. Though.
Okay, the government
what you're saying.
is, well, you've heard 2-tier being thrown around all over the place. It's either directly at Keir, because it rhymes and it's fun. It's predominantly 2-tier policing, which is obviously going to be part of the government. Because though the police aren't employees as such, they're appointed by the monarch, they still work for the government in effect. That's who pays their wages. And the Home Office is their ultimate employer. But when it gets down to it, they're appointed. There's a lot of grey areas there. And a lot. So what you've got is stuff happening in Hare Hills in Leeds, where predominantly, but not exclusively, you have to say this now because it's not everyone, even though apparently all white people are far right, you get riots, police cars being burnt out, smashed, and it gets, 2 days on all the major news networks, Sky, BBC, ITV, Channel 4, the ones that most people still use or look at. And not much gets mentioned. There's no task force set up. There's no, we'll be dealing with people within 72 hours. All the stuff that should be happening to people who are committing those sort of crimes, including the stuff that happened in Manchester and anywhere else. If they're burning cars or doing anything, throwing stuff at officers, they should be dealt with. That's the whole point. But why people are so angry...
Which people?
Here it is. The people that... Exactly. So, all right, my people.
I mean,
people that are just everyday people.
Angry.
Everyone's angry, and it's everyday people. And within everyday people doing protests, there's people that smash up stuff like that who should be dealt with.
And this
but that's not that entire...
What's this? Sorry, I'm going to jump in a little bit here, because what I don't what I haven't liked about some of the coverage, and we spoke about this before, is the term counter protests.
Yeah.
And not specifically naming what they are. I'm not convinced they're totally far right protests, but they're certainly anti-immigration protests.
Not 100%, no, because the people that'd have to be everyone in the crowd would have to be white then, wouldn't they? And a lot of people in the crowd aren't.
This is the stupidity. I'm just going to say of those people who are rioting and causing problems.
Yeah, the ones causing the problems, they're the ones should be dealt with. Because like anything, it takes away from the thousands of other people that are actually there. 100 people do stuff, but the 1,000 people there, those other 900 people are then lumped in with.
Yeah.
The biggest problem was the government is doing their announcements, and all they're saying is, you will be rounded up. But not all the stuff's happened before. Not Hare Hills or Whitechapel. Any other stuff has gone before. Now suddenly, since the poor 3 girls were murdered, now suddenly there's task forces and that's what people want to just say. Well, how come you're doing all this now?
Because there is a difference. Because you have to recognise there is a difference in terms of the type of protests, the type of riots that are happening, the organisation and the overt aggression towards specific minority groups. That let me finish. That has become really toxic and dangerous. I know people who are afraid to go out, to leave their house, who have had to change their schedules. You're getting people. Why?
Why are they doing that? Because people say this. Oh, now I don't feel safe here and stuff. But what's actually happened?
Because people are getting chased in the street by like chainsaws. You've seen in Manchester and Liverpool, some nutter is chasing people from ethnic minorities in chainsaws. People are attacking cars. They're pulling people out of cars into public.
I've seen that video too. And Muslims are attacking lone white males. But that stuff doesn't get reported. This is the point.
It does.
It does not get reported. Someone's not talking about it on his little pedestal.
Okay, hold on. Those are 2 different points, though. So you're saying it doesn't get reported
from different sides.
Okay, but you're saying,
I'm talking about people
I haven't seen Starmer directly address that, but I think that those incidents where, and I think it happened. Was it in Solihull or no? Where did it happen? Where the Muslims were.
It's happened in various different places. There's been Leicester,
they're less. They're more isolated. They're more isolated events. What's happening with these anti-immigration or far right groups is they're being incited. They're being incited by the UK Reform Party. They're being called the Farage riots because they're spreading misinformation. Because they are actively. These are people who have been appointed or in government, have been elected. Yeah. They are spreading misinformation. They're taking a Twitter feed from, what's his name? The guy who's convicted of rape in Romania? Tate.
Andrew Tate.
They're taking speculation that he's tweeted and retweeting that as fact without actually taking due diligence and to find out the information. And then you've got, wait till we get to this one, which I know you want to talk about, then you've got some billionaire who runs his own social media platform commenting on specifically acknowledged far-right groups and elevating that messaging and then saying, there's a civil war in the UK, when he's the one who's doing everything to promote and activate that civil war.
Yeah, the stuff he's saying is stuff
that
inflammatory. Why? Because it's stuff anyone with eyes can see. You can't. If people don't see 2 tiers because they don't want to see it, you can't see the police one set of protesters one way and one the other. There's not been task force set up for the lead stuff. What happened to all those people? Where's all the pictures saying "Can you ID, please?" and all the stuff in the paper? Where's all that? A lot of people just asking, can you just at least do that first, and then we could try and move on from that point. But they just won't do it. It just be anything that white people are doing next. That's all it seems to be. And then the faces are up and you will get this jail term. We're slamming down. Just slam down everyone then that's doing something wrong. How is that bad? If you throw stuff... but those people aren't having their faces plastered over. Please help us identify this person. So people just get more and more annoyed. Like, okay, so it's just one-sided.
Where should they be doing that?
Where they're doing it to the... people now.
Yeah, but where? So where are they doing it to people now? So that's
Sky News.
Okay, so if we look on Sky News,
Yeah. Why have you not got the app?
Sorry
about
this. You're the one who's meant to be checking these things.
Yeah, so just get
Right.
the app. Right.
But this is where the danger with algorithms is coming in, because it's serving you stuff that's built to make you angry and annoyed, right?
Yeah, from one side.
Please hunt for man considered risk for woman. No, is that not one?
No, that's just. What do you mean? That's not part of the riot stuff. We're talking about riot stuff, aren't we? That's just a general thing.
I think just before we get too sidetracked on this, I don't understand why. First of all, can you acknowledge that there is a faction of far right protesters or anti-immigration, whatever you want to call them,
of course
that are not. Do you condone that behaviour? Do you condone what
if
they're
you
doing?
smash stuff I've said earlier, and it's how we're talking. So you smash stuff, I'm just like, you should be not only arrested and prosecuted, but everything done to try and identify you. But they're not doing it anywhere else. So when Muslims are running around with machetes and stuff, not only is it completely underreported, a police officer is on camera telling a group of Muslims, put your weapons back into a mosque. And this is on camera, so it's not just going, oh, did that really happen? I'll show you the video. Put your weapons back in the mosque and no further action will be taken now. Tell me where that would happen elsewhere. They'd be surrounded, people picked out, a few roll-arounds on the floor, and people arrested for carrying weapons in a public place, which should happen to anybody. But no, put your weapons back in the mosque. Can you hear that?
But two-tier policing has existed for years, and a lot of ethnic minorities and BAME groups will be rightly saying, actually, it's about time it was in the other way. It was done the other way around for years.
For protests, it's never been done the other way around. It's only ever been done against what people define as football thugs, stuff like that. Because apart from terrorists, football thugs are the last.
It's a policing
strategy. It's the last people that you can do stuff to, and the public just go, oh, that's all right. They're terrorists. Oh, it's all right. No, they're football thugs, hooligans. So there's been two policing in protests for years, and it's never been against minorities. Because when BLM gets to do stuff in 2020, what happened then?
Come on, you can't. That's bullshit.
For protests, I'm talking about. I'm not talking about stop and search.
Okay, but
that's
still an issue, and has been something.
So don't carry weapons in the street then.
But not all BAME people are carrying weapons in the street. They're being profiled just as these thugs are being profiled when they're rioting because of the destruction they're causing.
You get intelligence-led policing. So what you're telling me is, if the police were going after a certain group, say it was paedophiles or football hooligans, would you expect them to also target black people, black males, for example? It wouldn't make much sense, because it'd be less than 0.01% of the people that commit those crimes. And if you're going after inner city robberies, why would you throw in white people with that? Because they also make up the same percentage of people not doing that. So,
but profiling has existed, and two-tier policing has existed.
Intelligence-led policing has existed.
It's existed for years. So it seems ridiculous now that the sort of the immigration protesters, I don't want to call them far right. Actually, they are far right, because you look at them, they're wearing Nazi tattoos and flags, and they're doing High Hitler. Tattoos. Not all of them, but the majority, as you said, if the majority of them do, that's the profile. They're creating the profile for themselves. They're doing Nazi salutes, for goodness sake. They're associating themselves with that.
Yeah, and they should be dealt with.
Okay, I actually want to try and take a step back, because everybody's really rightly frustrated and annoyed about the situation, because it doesn't represent the UK in the best possible light. I don't think the majority of people, and I've been heartened to see that you've had these anti-violence protesters coming out. That's not a bad thing.
And they're the ones getting beefed up.
But they should be. They should. Come on, they should.
Because they're the people that turn up to everything anyway. They're not from the area. Same as the people that are probably going to these areas and smashing things up. They're not from there either.
But no, come on. There's a significant difference. You're telling me that they should be dealt with as well. You've got peaceful protesters going there, standing up for other people, doing something constructive, versus people who are going out, attacking the police, causing criminal damage, hunting down ethnic minorities and attacking them.
Just like the Muslims were hunting down lone white males. That's the thing.
They should be dealt with.
Yeah, but they're not being reported. Whereas the other way round is being reported. Just report it all the same. And you wouldn't have as much tension as you got
who do you
now.
want? Okay. This is the bit I want to get to. Who do you want it? Who do you want to report it exactly the same?
The same that's being reported as it is now. So all your major news organisations, and when Starmer stands up on his poxy little, what's it called? We stand up on that thing. Is it called lectern?
Yeah, you mean the thing that Boris spent millions of pounds building?
Whoever stands up to it. I don't care if he spent £5 million.
No, the Boris can do no wrong.
No, he can do loads of wrong.
I want to get to this because I think this is the real issue, and not just about the bias of reporting, which has happened for centuries and years, because it's the agenda is driven by the billionaire owners who influence and antagonise.
Or a voice for people who can't argue with Sky, BBC, ITV or Channel 4.
What do you
Because they get to say stuff, and when you tweet something back, it's like, okay, that tweet's not really going anywhere, even if you have 1 million followers. But when you actually own the bloody company and you tweet something, it gets recognised. And they're like, oh, well, I have to say something back now. Fine, yeah, you have to actually say something back. But when I tweet something, it doesn't matter how many followers I've got. But when Elon Musk tweets something, you've got to listen. And that's what they hate. Because they're trying to fight the same things that they seem to be able to control.
Who's trying to fight it?
The government at the moment. The socialist crap government we got.
What I find fascinating is you never complained about it when the Tories were in power.
But what was going on when the Tories were in power in terms of protests?
What? Yeah, but how do you think we got to this point? It's the culture that they've created.
No.
You don't think
The culture that
to
has
do?
been here for about 40 odd years. And it's just
And now it's simmering
festering.
to the top because Labour are in power.
No, because over those 40 years, even more people have flooded into this country, and
But you cannot blame the current government for the immigration failures that have resulted in it.
a lot of the time they're being blamed for is when they're not saying stuff, when they're up on a bloody pedestal. Just say it equally. We will target these people doing wrong, and also these people who are carrying weapons and targeting males. We will do them as well. But they don't do that bit. They just do this bit. And that's what's so frustrating. Just say it both ways. Anyone who's committing crime will be dealt with. Say it all round. All it is faces of, these rioters and the mum was weeping in court. And it's all just the recent stuff since Manchester. It's ridiculous. Nothing about Leeds or nothing about anything else. It's just all this stuff. So just say that stuff as well. It's all wrong, but they're not saying that.
No, I agree with that. But
Listen to anything Starmer said.
I think it's a strategy, and I think he had to come down harder on the far right protests because it was getting toxic. It was really.
It's just it doesn't matter.
But
there's
no momentum.
As long as stuff goes on long enough, that's how they're always going to win in this way. But as long as stuff goes on enough, people just forget, and now everything's just far right. Everyone forgets any sort of source or where stuff really started or what's going on. They just see far right. That's it. So he's already won in effect.
Who's won?
Starmer. He's already won. He's already got exactly what he wants.
What do you think he wants?
That's $1 million question.
Well, no, but you say he's won. So what is it? What has he won?
Why is he not talking about other people? Why is he only talking about one side?
I don't specifically know, but I think what he had to do.
The Labour councillor said about is now been arrested, who said about the throats being slit. The crowd behind, that's your peaceful lot, by the way, the Hope Not Hate and all the anti-racist stuff with all the yellow placards, they were cheering. They were smiling, cheering, and some clapping. Well, when he said about slitting throats, it's like,
Oh, I've seen that.
Yeah,
Well,
he has been arrested, yeah.
Yeah, good.
But why smile and clap? You would be going, you still hold your placard, but at least with the cameras on your face, sort of like,
No, I agree. But the problem is this is what's happened, right? There's a really toxic and dangerous environment in the UK at the moment. I think it's been a bit overblown, and I don't think it is actually as bad as it feels. And I'm obviously talking from a privileged position as being a white guy, and we don't know. It is privileged. We've got friends. We've got friends.
Position.
Well, it is a privileged.
So go somewhere and then get attacked by groups of males. Then how privileged you feel then?
No,
We've got a machete bearing down on you. Oh, it's well privileged. It's all right, but privilege.
Okay,
You can't actually attack me. My privilege will protect me.
statistics. What are the statistics?
I don't
behind
want to
that?
talk about statistics.
Do you want to talk
What
about
with races
statistics?
versus race?
Yes. If you look at the
Okay.
if you look at the amplification of the number of attacks that have taken place against ethnic minorities in the hostile environment that the Tory created, we've got with the Windrush, oh come on, we've got Suella Braverman and creating a hostile environment around the Windrush. You forget Windrush?
How could I forget Windrush?
So-
I'm constantly reminded about it, like they saved the world. That generation saved everything in Great Britain. What would we have done without them?
I think this is the value.
No one else worked, by the way. Just only when they came over to help out.
This is what I don't understand about the mindset towards that, because previously as a culture, which is the British culture, was celebrating those people that helped during the war across all cultures and gave them a home and helped build the economy back up. And now it's like, oh no, they get too much credit. Well, those aren't the British values. So what is it? That doesn't make any sense. Honestly.
If you talk about Windrush stuff, people were brought over to help build out, even though the workforce hadn't been slashed by that much in terms of people who can actually work. And they brought them over because they knew they could pay them less. So it's all about saving money. So they shoved them into what is now TfL, working on the underground and the buses and all the other places because they were cheap. So the government won't acknowledge that they want to bring them over just to pay them less. They could have been just paying people the wage at the time and people that are already here. You don't need to grab over. And it's on a mass scale. That's the problem. People go, oh, there's been people here since whatever. Yeah, a couple of hundred or a few thousand or something. Not millions.
The vast majority of people working in the NHS are of a different background and come from other countries. They are much more ethnically diverse than the majority of the population here. And actually, without them, the NHS would crumble and fall even further. So it's ridiculous.
What do you mean by vast majority?
A greater percentage of people from other countries, immigrant people that have come into this country, work and represent or work across the NHS.
Yeah.
So without them, they play a fundamental part in an essential service. It's just this argument or this criticism of saying, "Oh, just give it to the British people." First of all, none of the people who are here are native to this country anyway. They're all from Germany or Scandinavia, all Anglo-Saxons.
It's a time scale thing, yeah.
Yeah.
So we blow our minds with transatlantic slave industry.
But what's the cut-off point for it?
Exactly. What is the cut-off point?
We now
I'll give you 500 years. How's that for a cut-off point? Because everyone goes on about that. Oh, we're Anglo-Saxons. I know why it's the land of Angles. That's what England means. They come from a North European, what is now Germany. The old Germanic tribes.
Nobody here is actually...
Yes, you got the Celts and stuff that were here from way before them.
So why 500 years? Why is that all right?
No, you asked them to pick a time because people absolutely cream their pants about the slave trade. Like there's only one, by the way. When you say slave trade, tell me where your mind goes. Straight to the one from the 17th century and 18th century. That's it. That's all your mind goes. Like the Romans and the Greeks and everyone weren't doing it before that. Because it's a time thing. Oh, that's 2,000 years. That's 2,500 years ago. It's all right. This one's 250 years ago, so it's still quite fresh because all those 250-year-old people walking around. So I've given a time limit because when do you get to stop?
Are you trying to suggest that the slave trade is a good thing? You're trying to justify the slave trade now?
I'm trying to say, what do you mean justify? How do you even get that? I'm saying people only talk about that one, not the other slave trades that happen. This one happened to be on a bigger scale because we had better boats and stuff like that going on. So no one talks about the Roman slave trade. Do they? They don't.
I think... I want to...
They don't.
No, okay. But
there's still people being shoved somewhere they're not supposed to be, away from their families, brutal conditions and dying.
Do you think immigration is actually the problem? Is that the problem?
It's a big problem.
Why? How is it a big problem? What's the problem with immigration?
There's too many people. That's the problem.
Too many people to what?
To coming in with a country that's already flooded with too many people. Our population is too big as it is.
How's that? But we need more people for sort of certain jobs. What about fruit picking?
There's tons of...
Yeah, but none of the...
See what I mean? Just Because everyone's had it. It's, people are too lazy. Everyone's had it too cozy.
Okay,
Yes, I've said this before.
Okay, so
IKEA plastic bags. Just take that stuff away. People will then do stuff. Oh, I've got to do this myself. Oh, that's a bit annoying. And then it's not annoying because you just suddenly start doing it.
whose responsibility is that to drive that sort of thing? And why didn't the Tory party do it when they were in power for so long?
It was not so long.
You telling me? You telling long? What? 12 years? Not long enough?
That's not that long. In terms, you're talking about immigration and stuff being embedded into our society. You're talking about 12 years. No. It's been done from the late 50s and 60s and grown from there. It's like you plant something, then it's grown, and now there's a problem. Oh, this tree's too big. There's too many bloody roots messing everything up. There's too many people. There's just too many people. It's a maths problem. I've said it in other videos. It's a maths problem.
I think the real issue is not about immigration at all. I think there's enough space. There's enough space here for people. Not everybody. You need to have some controlled immigration. You need to have the right policies and processes in place so that you can integrate people effectively. But immigration, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for immigration. So, should I go?
Glorious, yeah. Because you came in what on the? Well, which one were you? The lorry, or were you the boat? Or
What difference
you
does
came
it make?
because there's paths for people to come here legally. They don't, and that's another problem, by the way. Illegal versus illegal immigration, and you didn't come here illegally.
I didn't.
Christ's
For
sake.
the record, I did not come here illegally.
Yeah. So why do people always talk about it?
coming-
I wouldn't be here. You didn't come here on the boat and all that. We're talking about the illegal side of things.
I think
and you're just about, what's illegal? It shouldn't be illegal. There should be safe paths. When they're in France making these decisions. What, they make a decision at gunpoint? With the gendarme there like this?
I want to pick. I think it's an important point because people like me who aren't originally from this country, weren't born here. That's how this environment makes us feel when we see. And I'm really privileged because I'm a white male guy. I am privileged. I know from direct experience speaking to other people of other ethnic origins, and I'm a man. Well, it's so scary for women of ethnic minorities to be in this country and walking around the streets when you've got people genuinely. Why? Because you've got thugs in the street attacking people for their skin colour.
Yeah, you have on both sides, but only one side's getting reported.
The scale of it. And okay, so actually, just I want to follow up on this because
Scale's the same.
What I don't want us to do, and I think we're not doing the best job of this, is I think we're just adding fuel to the fire, and we need to back this up with a little bit more of the statistics. So we're going to try and share with our viewers and our followers some stats that will give a greater perspective, because we're not making the most informed.
But when it comes to wounding with intent and murders, you're not. If you're on the left, you're not going to want to see the actual statistics. And I cannot wait to post them. Okay, but
let's post them and then let's have a more informed debate. But before we do get into that, again, I want to pose the question, like, who's driving this rhetoric? Again, we've got billionaires who own media assets, who have a profound influence on the editorial and political agendas, disproportionately influencing and inciting this trouble. That's terrorism. How?
He's saying stuff that people are asking, but it's not being reported. So now, because
it's been reported on his platform,
it's going to be attacked because
it's been reported on his platform. So that's bullshit.
Yes, but the government, most people, as big as X and everything else is, we're still going to listen to the big news networks, no matter how much information is out there. Bear in mind, all the information is out there, and we're dumber than ever.
But have
they're still going to go to the big four. BBC, Sky, ITV and Channel 4. And when Starmer was standing up there with his nasal voice, just chatting stuff for one side, and then finally someone says, well, actually, what about this, what about that? And then suddenly he's inciting terrorism.
But it was all right when Boris Johnson was calling people letterboxes.
No, he said that's what to him. He said that's what they look like.
That's okay.
He's asking what they look like.
So you didn't complain about it when you've got Tory government minister, also the Breverman, in calling the peaceful protests riots.
Which peaceful protests?
It's actually
because the BLM one's the government at the time, which was Tory.
No,
called it the peaceful protest.
The Palestine support The ones that were in support of Palestine.
Oh yeah, the ones that are causing most of the problems over the last 6 months.
She was calling them hate mobs and hate. Where if you actually
because they
went
were
on
happy,
those,
they're shouting there, "Kill the Jew" and stuff like that. That's all right.
That's
according to you,
look,
like, it's just Jews. So why would we care about that?
There's within every faction, there's a small minority that has a negative impact and says things that are
They're not being called
antagonistic.
out, and I'll repeat this over.
But they
and
were
over
when
again.
the Tory government were there. They were, and in fact, it was the
good.
other way round. But so it feels a little bit hypocritical for you to now say, oh, they're only saying
They're
it
not
for these.
saying it though. They're not. They're saying it from one side. Look at all when the Jewish protests were going on. Nothing's going on. Nothing's being chucked at police. Things aren't being stormed or smashed. When the Palestinians are doing stuff, well, you know what I mean, the people who support Palestine.
Free Gaza.
Yeah. Okay.
It's
go over to Israel and protest.
There are people in Israel protest.
Sure there is. Good on them. Don't stand here like there's so much stuff wrong in this country when you get to shout and scream in the street and chuck stuff and nothing happens to you, and you're going on like there's problems with this country in that respect, because there isn't. There's problems in other areas, not you protesting.
You've got but you
kick the table.
I kicked the table and then I moved the camera.
Sorry about that,
a little
guys.
bit. But you've got Musk saying that there's civil war. I don't think there's civil war in the UK. In fact, if you look at the way the vast majority of what I think are good, kind-hearted people have gone out to support and do these sort of counter protests against these, there was an organised. No, it was not like that. Surely has got that's a good thing.
I bet the channel must have zoomed in a couple of people going, and there's people of all creeds and colours here. And the usual rhetoric that they just want to just throw out there.
Why are you
not all the stuff going in.
Why are you using your normal voice?
I have to in this. You've got to adapt. Needs must. Yeah?
I hope... right, what do you guys think out there? Let's break the fourth wall. We've ranted a little bit, and I don't know if we've actually added any real value to this.
I don't agree with... Yeah, but that's what people are talking about. These channels have got to stop trying to just do one thing or the other, and sometimes just talk, because sometimes people just want to listen to stuff. Yeah. And that might be enough. You never know. But people aren't listening to stuff. And just for one thing I want to say, Musk, I know he's born in South Africa, but...
He was, to a billionaire, to a very rich father who owned a jewel mine.
Yeah, cool. And now he's richest man in the world.
Who then had daughter, who had a kid with his stepdaughter.
Cool.
Musk's father did.
Cool. And, cheers
nice
Musk,
guy.
Thanks for that. And... I don't agree with the Civil War side of thing. It's quite an American thing to say because they love that sort of stuff. And that's the American side of him.
The hypocrisy of Musk supposedly calling out Google for hiding certain search terms around Donald Trump, and then to actively...
They were doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, but then for him to actively... He's got a profound voice on that platform and has a responsibility, and he's inciting and amplifying far-right accounts.
He's arguing against Starmer, which we're not able to do.
By amplifying far-right, genuinely, do you think that's a constructive and good thing to do? That he's amplifying,
I'll have to read into what ones he's been amplifying and if they're actually far-right. That's all.
Okay, all right.
I haven't read
see
them.
that in the show notes. But if he's doing that, do you think that's right?
If it's actual far-right people, then no, you shouldn't be doing that. Okay. But not if it's actual far-right people. If you're arguing against this crap government we got.
All right, fine. But then let's get to this, because I think this is the crux of the matter. There's 2 points. I think in today's information overloaded world, every individual has a responsibility to look and identify the news sources and think about the agenda behind what's being shared and by whom. We have to now. That's how we have to evolve. Because there's so much misinformation across multiple platforms. We all have a collective responsibility to try and understand who's sharing it, why they're sharing it, and what the overall agenda is. So let's educate ourselves on who owns which platforms, what the driving goal is, and just try and chill out a little bit more and not react to everything. Be careful what you share. There's some really good stuff. There's some good accounts, I think, on Twitter that have got some really good rules. I'll try and share some links of those as well afterwards if anybody is interested. And the second point I was going to make, I've forgotten.
That's why we need the
I know,
notebook.
I know. What were you saying before?
What wasn't I saying before? My same overriding point, just report both ways. Because if
this is the bit. This is the bit that I'm happy about, right? We've clearly got different views on this,
about
but
that.
I agree. You should be reporting both ways, and I do think that anybody who is inciting dangerous behaviour or causing problems, regardless of their
round up.
Yeah. I agree with that. I think that's the right thing to do.
Yeah, so just say it. That's all. Not you, them.
No.
You know who you are.
You know who you are.
The big four.
Oh, I'm now going to bring as I don't know. I looked at my watch, but just keep an eye on time. This episode's spilling over, but we have a brand new sponsor. Yeah, we have a brand new sponsor. So a shameless plug here for www.mcbigc.com. It's a executive coaching, life-changing, supporting coaching business model brought to you by myself. So if anybody's out there and going through a difficult time and looking to transition and need some help in taking that next big step, then reach out to me on www.mcbigc.com.
Two things. Sorry, you keep saying www. It's not 1997. And
I didn't actually prepare this.
Trust me, when you think you're in control of everything and it's okay, I'll be alright, or you constantly keep saying you're fine, that's why you need to go to this website. Believe me, I am the one. Anyone that knows me, who's watching, will know that I'm the last person that would want to go to that. But when you're constantly doing the same things over and over again, or things aren't getting worse and you're just going, oh, it'll be alright next week, or something similar, get to the website. Trust me.
I didn't even pay him for that. That's brilliant. You did that better than I did. Excellent. Thank you. We're going to wrap up this show, this week's show. We're going to try and bring you a bit more content more frequently, as ever. Comment, tell us what you like, what you don't like, subscribe, share,
like and subscribe.
And we will see you next week, maybe sooner.
See ya.